Hello everyone, welcome back to yet another political episode. So, we got some really big news that happened in the last couple hours. Yesterday, it was really big in the breaking news side of things. A Wisconsin judge was arrested by FBI after she was housing, yes, you guessed it, an illegal alien. Now, obviously, there's a lot to actually question in regards to this. Yes, it was an illegal alien. They'll say, oh, it's an undocumented alien, undocumented immigrant. Well, here's the deal. This judge, she knew very well, that what she was doing was illegal. And not only was she holding an illegal, she was holding a member of MS-13. This judge doesn't care about anyone. Anyone. A little girl could have been raped. And I'm using the actual blunt words. So if it triggers you, you know this is a must-have conversation. So I hope you all understand. But yes, a little girl could have been raped. A little 12-year-old girl. And this woman right here wouldn't even give a you-know-what. Because her heart goes out to the rapists. Her heart goes out to the murderers. Her heart and her sympathy and her tears, buckets full of them, rivers flowing, goes to rapists who actually deserve to either have the death penalty, being completely honest, or be literally thrown into a jail cell for the rest of their time being, because what they do is absolutely sickening. Especially to women. Especially to girls. And these are the people that claim to say women's rights, abortion access, women, feminism, yada 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 yada. And here, they care more about the illegal alien more than they do when it comes to women. We already know that they can't stand for Lake and Riley's parents. We know that they can't stand for blanking on her name. I'm blanking on her name, but there's another lady. But yes, they can't stand for her. The girl. Lake and Riley's probably the most famous one. Can't stand for her. They can't stand for her parents. And what they will stand for is running all the way to El Salvador with a man named Emmanuel Garcia. A man who beated his former wife, his new wife, who is shedding tears for him, who is trying to cover him up so that he can stay here in the United States. I think she should be arrested too, because I think she's her partner. He's her partner of crime. She is his partner of crime. There, my grammar was off on that sentence. And when it comes to that, and actually, when it means upholding the law, Democrats, they totally fold. They will not. And I'm talking about Chris Van Hollen, the little clown from Maryland. Marylanders, we have Marylanders from our channel. We hope you can sympathize with us Minnesotans, because we have the king of tampons as our governor. But you guys from Maryland, no offense, but you guys have a clown. You guys have a clown. This guy doesn't care about you. This guy doesn't care about anyone. But this guy will roll in the dirt like a pig. Roll in the mud for an illegal alien. For a murderer, a rapist, like Mr. Garcia, who beated his own former wife, who actually killed people. In fact, how MS-13 actually works, if you kill people, if you kill one person, you will get a tattoo. And the design of your tattoo will be in the descriptions on how you killed that person. So there's a lot of information. We're learning a lot. So much the Trump administration is learning a lot on how MS-13, a terrorist group, the biggest threat in the United States right now, along with Tren de Aragua, on how they conduct their stuff. We're learning so much. Democrats are learning nothing. They actually think these people are innocent, and they're not. Okay? I'll tell you this. The Democrats are boo-hoo whining and crying that these people are in shackles, they're in chains, they're being loaded up into helicopters, and they're being shipped to Guantanamo or El Salvador. I'll tell you what. These people, oh my gosh, they have their priorities just all over. I'll tell you, these are the same people that simp for Hamas and Hezbollah and advocate for the destruction of the only Jewish state in the world. These are the same people, guys. So we obviously should be expecting that these violent loving offenders that simp for these offenders would obviously roll in the ground and eat dirt and mud for these illegal aliens. We know they should. We know they would. We shouldn't be surprised that Chris Van Hollen is flocking like a hawk all the way to San Salvador, where all these illegal aliens are being held. We shouldn't be surprised. They have chosen their side. They decided not to stand with women. They've decided not to stand for little girls that have been raped and killed. They've decided not to stand for little boys and even men who have been assaulted and killed by these people. They've decided not to stand for their own constituents, but to stand for a foreign terrorist group. And this is what this woman stands for. So obviously, we have this breaking news on this woke judge being just arrested. And we know this woman, she doesn't stand for her constituents. We know she doesn't really stand for women. She doesn't stand, and really you should stand for nothing but the people. You should stand nothing for the law but the law. In regard this woman and all these woke judges, they will only stand for a certain demographic. They'll only stand for you if you're a person of color, if you're a woman, if you're not a male, if you're not straight, if you're lesbian or homosexual. They will totally make sure you get the benefit of the doubt. They will totally rule out law and reasoning and logic and just melt on the ground, on the floor for you. They will melt for you because of your skin color. And this stupid, bombastic judge who is literally patting the head of a rapist, and we know these people are rapists because they are a part of MS-13. There is no way you can't be a rapist with a MS-13 member without raping or killing someone. How do you think you can get into this stupid cult group? How do you think you can get in? So, we're going to go ahead, watch this just disgusting video of this footage of this woman just letting them hang out in their house. These are murderers, these are rapists, and she doesn't care. We know she doesn't care. Her heartstrings have been stretched out like a broken guitar. They're just totally disordered. Her strings of reasoning have been cut. She doesn't think of these people as rapists. She thinks of them as hungry, homeless people. And honestly, that's what they want you to think. These people are smart, guys. Don't think that they're dumb. No, they're smart. They're intelligent. And it's really this woman right here. That's the most stupidest idiot on the planet. they have controlled her. And now they're going to treat her nice. They're going to treat her like, oh, thank you for having us. But you see, this is the grift. This is the grift. The MS-13 has had their lasso and tied her up into their grift. This is what's being played here. So let's go ahead, take a look at this video, and react to this woman getting arrested by ICE. And then we have the liberal media boo-hoo-whining and crying about it, which is absolutely disgusting. But I have to tell you, they have a lot to actually defend themselves on. But let's go ahead and take a look at this.
A ver, patrón. Agarre duro.
Oh, sí, está pesado. Está pesado. Yo no sabía que estaba. What, is it? Yeah, it's heavy. Put it on.
A ver, patrón, ¿cómo es que dice?
Several months later.
Okay, that's what because this is Greg's video, we're going to go and pause and a couple minutes ahead. But you obviously make sure that, obviously, with these disgusting stuff here, I don't know which one's the judge. I think it's the lady who's the judge. This guy, he was definitely a part of it. This is your average guy that goes on Reddit. This is the guy that has his fake X account. This is the guy that goes on Facebook and all the conservative pages on Facebook and just spends 4 to 5 hours just trolling. This is your average old, soggy, droopy old boomer that doesn't have a life, slaps on his couch, and just goes through Facebook, going on the major conservative pages like the White House page, or maybe the president's page himself, the GOP page, and just goes and trolls. This is your average clown, and he's probably all butthurt that I'm getting arrested. These are the average people that think they're good. Really? Wow, they're such good people. You're such a good person. You listen. This is the type of old guy that will go as far as saying, "Oh, I'm never voting for a felon," but you're literally protecting a felon in your house. Kind of ironic how I bump into these people like, oh, you voted for the felon. Well, you're protecting the felons with an S. Your party, your senator, Chris Van Hollen, flew all the way to San Salvador to free one. So how is that? I think that's much worse. Jeez. I mean, it's not like you didn't go and vote for Bob Menendez or something. Well, or maybe vote for another Democrat Democrat from Texas who's currently being investigated and indicted. Come on. But yeah, this is the type of clown that thinks he's the good person. He's the good guy. Everyone else is inferior. Everyone else is bad, unkind, but he's the good person. Really? Guess what, mister? Many little girls didn't get justice. And they did, thankfully. I'm hoping many more get their justice. But this man, right here, in cuffs, tried to take away many girls, and many kids, many women, and many other people's justice away. They want to throw their opportunities of justice away because he feels so sad about the immigrant. They believe their fake sob stories that don't even matter. So let's go ahead and you'll see Greg Foreman in the background. We love Greg, but we do not want his there's some, I'm sure Greg's very popular. I will tell you that. A lot of people use his content to view these type of videos, so I know he doesn't mind. I'm just one of the many that does. But I'm sure we are totally fine with Foreman in the background. But we're going to go ahead and take a look at this news station, which is, I'm kind of curious to see how they react to this.
Tonight we're learning a lot more about a case involving a New Mexico judge and also alleged gang members. It's really gotten a lot of national attention. We've already reported that former Las Cruces magistrate judge Joel Cano can never sit on the bench ever again in our state.
Our state Supreme Court made that decision after taking a look at 2 disciplinary cases against him, and one of them alleges Cano let 3 undocumented immigrants, allegedly associated with a Venezuelan gang, stay in his home. Monica Logroño combed through all the court documents to break down how we got to this point. So, Monica, first let's start with that former judge. What do we know about him?
Well, Tessa, Trevor, he's former Doña Ana County Magistrate Judge Joel Cano. He served on the bench since 2011. He just resigned last month before the state Supreme Court decided to ban him from holding judicial office. Here's his resignation letter from early March. Now, in it, Cano doesn't give a reason for resigning, but we know that it came just days after Homeland Security raided his Las Cruces home. Now, we're getting more details of this case from the search warrant. The feds seized several items from Cano's house, 6 phones, miscellaneous documents, and laptops. The search warrant itself reveals the investigation has been in the works for months after the feds got an anonymous tip in January. The source claimed 3 undocumented Venezuelans were staying in Judge Cano's home, were working for his family, and he allowed them access to guns. Now, those suspects are Christian Adrian Ortiz.
Wow. Are you kidding me? This is a judge. Now, I'm getting 2 stories mixed up, if you will. We'll talk about the Wisconsin story later. But this story, I can't believe it. We have 2 judges, guys. 2 stories. What? This one's from New Mexico. This is a male judge. I'm guaranteeing you that this guy in handcuffs is probably, the guy we looked at handcuffs is probably him. And I'm glad he is. This guy threw people in jail for having guns. I mean, let's be honest, New Mexico is a gun control state, and it has a lot of gun control laws, and if you break those gun control laws, hey, you can get prison time. And I'm sure this guy, this activist judge, will be very happy to have these people that violated his precious far-left gun control laws thrown in jail. But he's totally fine with the far left. Well, I wouldn't even say the far left. I wouldn't call them, they're just stupid and insane. MS-13. Terrorist groups to have the guns. They're totally fine. He's totally fine with it. So, really, it's not about a safety issue about it. Guns. Guys. Literally. This guy is probably out of many Democrats. Democrats abuse the issue of guns. They don't care about safety. No, we know that the issue of guns are not actually, shouldn't be an issue because it's actually about mental health. That's the real issue. But Democrats, they want to turn it to guns, right? Because they want to blame mass shootings, not on the idiot that did it. They want to blame it on an object. That's their common sense thinking. We know mass shootings, the issue on that is mental health. The issue of that is crime. Big urban cities, not access to guns because you can carry out a massacre with anything. It doesn't have to be a gun. But I'm getting off the track because I don't want to make this out of guns. But we just saw right here that this guy, he's just playing the Democrat Party playbook. He wants to take his constituents' guns away, but he's totally fine with letting terrorist groups have guns. You see how ass backwards this is? Like, seriously, this is an activist, not judge. He's a judge in name only. This guy's an activist. He's an undercover extremist. And I'm very proud and happy that I'm giving this news channel credit. They're calling it out. This guy, New Mexico judge, far left judge, letting terrorist groups have guns, taking away the guns of his constituents, which they have a right to have with the Second Amendment. We know this exposes straight out that Democrats, they don't care about guns. No, they just don't want their constituents to have guns, but they're totally fine with the individuals that they simp for, the quote-unquote minority groups, to have guns. You see how that works? No wonder, because we see high crime areas in like the deep, like the gang members in which they totally simp for. In Minneapolis, Memphis, Atlanta, they have guns. Well, they're gangs, and they're not crying gun control. No, they're fine with the gangs, right? They're fine with the crime groups to have them. But if you're a hunter, if you're a straight white male having a gun, they want to take it away. Interesting. I don't think Greg pointed that out, but I think he would. But I thought that to be very interesting.
Ortega Lopez, Juan Manuel Acevedo León, Efren Jose Montilla Castillo, and now right now Ortega Lopez is in jail in Doña Ana County. Acevedo León is in ICE custody in Texas. Now the tipster also told.
Okay, we're gonna stop. This is the stupid idiot that the ICE, not ICE, but the MS-13 crime member. You can see this guy. Is obviously an MS-13 gang member. He's been caught. This is his photo. This is the guy that the judge has been has held him in his own house. And we just saw in the beginning of the video, friendly guy. Yeah, that's what he wants you to think. You know, that's what this guy has to be friendly. He's not going to bite the hand that feeds him, guys. Don't bite the hand that feeds him. This guy, we saw him. He was showing him his weapons, his big terrorist weapons to carry out mass crimes. And judge was all, "Oh, this is so cool. If I was an actual judge, I would have been throwing you in jail right now. But because you're a poor, hungry migrant who has no home, I'm just going to stroke this gun and I'm going to pat you on the head. Oh, how good are you?" And this guy, he can't go and, he's like, he's smart. Guys, don't bite the hand that feeds you. This MS-13 guy is going to be nice. He's going to be kind. He's going to be generous. He's going to respect the rules of the household. He's going to stay there because he knows that, hey, look, I'm going to respect it. I have a food, I have a house, I just need to follow the rules and maybe be a good guy. But we know he's not a good guy. We know this guy's hurt innocent people. This guy's abused women. This guy has abused kids. This guy's not a good guy. This guy needs to be locked up. And thankfully, we got this guy. And I think this judge, they think, oh, he can't serve ever on the bench ever again in the state of New Mexico. I think he should never serve on the bench ever again in the United States. This guy committed an act of treason, supporting and hiding a terrorist group. This guy is still a U.S. citizen. This guy can still legally vote. How he can still do that is kind of ironic. This guy's a traitor to this country. He abused his office to support an enemy, and it is legally an enemy. MS-13 is an opponent, a terrorist group, an enemy, not an adversary, an enemy of the United States. He took an oath to protect the U.S. Constitution, to protect constitutionality, and he totally blew it up. So my view, no, I don't think he gets to serve a judge ever again. And in fact, I think he should, I don't know the legal process. He is a U.S. citizen. Can his citizenship be taken away if he was born here? I don't think that can be possible. If he was born here legally, like I was, like you were, or whatever, then I'm not sure how that works. But obviously, this guy's getting a slap on the wrist. He's going to jail. He can't serve on the judge. That's too much for treason. Too much. But yeah, that is the unfortunate scenario when it comes to that. You'll see, looking at...
Able to verify everything the tipster told them through social media. Evidence shows both Ortega Lopez and Montilla Castillo posted photos of themselves with Judge Gano, his wife, and his daughter. One of those posts is this TikTok. It shows Ortega Lopez dancing, and then he pulls out a gun, which also violates...
Wow. What a joke. Obvious. Yeah, guys, when you see the fake outrage, and not all judges, I'm a fan of Judge Fletcher. Who knows Judge Fletcher? Daniel Fletcher? Let's see if we can look him up. Daniel Fletcher. Yeah, there's another group. I think this was the next one we were going to look at, but Judge Daniel Fletcher. Well, okay. Yeah, I will just say his name. Yes, Judge Daniel Fletcher from Texas, Harris County, Houston. He is amazing. He's not afraid to call out the Looney Tunes that, you know what? I think we're going to actually look it up. Judge, just ignore the, well, I will just say, Daniel Fleischer, judge. Yeah, because this guy, he will literally, go as far as, literally ripping you apart. He's not afraid to literally call you out for what you are. He will call you a threat to the public, and he will make sure you get the maximum punishment. And he can get pretty extreme sometimes. He can use some very triggering language, and he's got some people mad at him, but this guy doesn't care. No. And I give him credit for that. These are judges we need, and that's Judge Fleischer from Harris County. Let's just say I'm not going to go searching the internet, searching the channel for the video I was really hoping for, but this is probably an example of
Welcome to Court Cam HQ.
Of basically of a true judge, a real judge.
I have Zoom because I have Zoom.
We could ask her. I don't know if she has that ability.
You want to see? Are we stand down for a bit? Just stand down to see if she's available to Zoom.
She is okay with someone from our office reading it in her place, if the court's okay with that.
Because these holders, no, can you reach out to her real quick and just see? I know you're in the home stretch, Dave. I mean, I know you've gotten
It's
a
David
great deal
Fleischer,
here.
not
They're
Daniel
reducing it to a
Fleischer.
misdemeanor.
My bad.
Getting on it deferred. So just give me 5 minutes. Let me see if they can do that. Yes, sir. Someone that's going to think. Okay, give me one.
Misdemeanor probation, so we have to refile that as a misdemeanor.
Correct. Indecent assault.
Correct.
To a 2-year deferred.
Correct.
Okay. So let's do ma'am, what I was going to do is do the plea first and then have you say something after the fact, if that's okay.
For me to speak first prior to the plea, then of course, yes, it's okay to speak
If you want to speak first, then you're welcome to. Is there something that you wanted to say?
This is a 23-minute video.
Well, I wanted to read my victim impact statement.
Please do. You're welcome to do it.
It's better than the current deal.
Change sexual boundaries course in the country you're using. You're going to get.
I do respectfully request that the court do require you.
Yeah, I guess this one's not really impactful. Well, you see what I mean. He is really good judge. I mean, I think this is a good one.
You don't know how to tell me how to do my job. Just be like, oh, you got my arm.
Guys, relax. Thurman. All I know is that you have picked up a case from out of state. And well, give me a second. No, what we really here are all about is identity, right?
I have not been to this no courtroom vote.
And hide. And I don't want that. Like, I don't want someone out there to suffer because we let you out. I let you bond out. You've got an armed robbery, you've got an ag assault. You continue to violate conditions on those bond, right? That shows me that you're not willing to abide by bond. I mean, quite frankly, you're lucky to even be out on those charges with the ankle monitor, and you continue to violate.
And Your Honor, you keep saying violate. Like, if I was in violations they have on file, by the way. Those have been taken care of. Once again, you keep on saying violations, but they took care of. The felony court judge seeing I have proven, what's the word I'm looking for? Just proven, facts that this is why I'm late. I have a new job. I got fired because I got arrested from another job, so I started a new job. For me having a felony in my position, and just call it what it is, a young black man with a felony, it's hard for me to get a job anywhere. So the jobs I do get, I take up on them.
And yeah, let's see if this judge actually falls for the victimhood
So it's hard. Any shift they open up for me, I'm going to take it and show my work ethic too. So I let the judge know that. He sees that. He understands, like, okay, that's why you keep on bringing up violations. I have to work. I have to eat. I have to have a house to live in, like anybody else here. So you keep on bringing that up. I'll keep saying, I already talked to the judge about it. He granted it already. He let it go. That's why I'm still free to this day. Well, was free to this day. And you keep bringing that up. You said, your fear, which is understandable. Everybody have fear. I have not been into any trouble. I've been working. I've been working for a whole year. I've been, I done my P's and Q's. And like you say, this police report you're reading, sir, can't stay open, so I can't really speak on it or pretty say much, but it's a lot more to what you just read on a police report. It's always going to be video cameras and house ring cameras, body footage, a lot of other things that you're not going to be able to read off a police report. It's understandable.
Just too much blood, Mr. Thurman. I'm sorry. I can't set you on. It's just too much. I'm sorry. Hey, this isn't.
Do not walk away.
This isn't.
I said, okay, it's fine.
Look, I understand that you're hurt, Mr. Thurman, but look.
I've been doing my best, Your Honor. And y'all say you tell me I'm the bad guy, and I've been doing nothing but do my best of my abilities, working, staying out of trouble. And you're a threat, and I'm a threat to society. Really? For a whole year I've been out?
Yeah, you're in jail, bro. Come on.
They just not issue a warrant for me just now, recently, and I come and turn myself in, and I'm a threat to society.
Yeah, you're a violent felon. Like the beginning of the video says, you're a threat to society, like Judge Flesher told you.
You fear me for what? I'm turning myself in and show you that I'm not running for nothing. I'm not running for anything. I'm innocent, and I'm coming to show you I'm innocent by turning myself in. But y'all a threat. You can let go of me, sir.
Stop.
You can let go of me.
You do not tell me how to do my job.
You can let go of me.
Relax. Relax.
I'm let me up. I asked you to let go of it. I asked my question. I asked you to let go of it, sir. That's all I said. All I said.
Okay, he was pretty cool in that one. But typically, if they step out like, oh boy, yeah, he would go nuclear. And he's not afraid. He is not afraid. And if they go, cry victimhood, oh boy, he would get even madder. Because he knows very well, and he knows they know that what they did was unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. And now let's just say this guy, Judge Flesher was this guy, New Mexico judge. What do you think this guy would have done to this prisoner? He probably would have gave him a bond. He mentioned that he was a poor black guy with no job or something like that, or trying to live a life. Okay, I mean, I would be more sympathetic to that if you weren't a violent felon, though. I mean, from the and just like what every person with common sense is saying, he has an indictment. They have a statement of what he's done. I don't know what he's done. I can't necessarily, I've been beginning of the video. When it says violent felon, I would just go ahead and just assume that he probably killed someone or raped someone. And when you go and try to counter that by crying racism and race and all that stuff, what do you think that New Mexico judge would have done? What do you think he would have done? Probably would have gave him a bond after that. Oh, here you go. Here's the bond. No, that's not what Judge Flesher would have done. And Judge Flesher is representing one of the very few judges. Very few woke judges. He's not woke at all. Believe me. He's not political, and judges aren't supposed to be political, and that's why I have so much respect for this guy. But obviously, this is not the judge we were talking about. This was another judge, the New Mexico judge, the Wisconsin judge, which was a judge specifically in regards to the state of Wisconsin. I haven't heard much about it, but basically, this is the one MSNBC is going to be freaking out about. They're mad that a judge from Milwaukee County was arrested. Let's see what this woke judge has to say about due process, which is she's totally going to be taking that for an advantage.
Law is premised on equal justice, but also we have evolved into due process. And it's really the due process. I, as a person who, for a couple decades almost, represented low-income people, it is due process that really equalizes those differences between people. If we follow the rule of law, then we're able to achieve that equal justice that we are promised and hope to have continue despite our differences, despite our class differences, despite our racial and religious differences.
A few moments later.
I'm trying to hold it together, like with the piano music. It's hilarious. Like, what are you guys supposed to do? Like, are you trying to pull my heartstrings or something? Like, due process. Like, due process has always been a thing. I think due process is great, amazing. I mean, we, as Americans, Democrats, Republicans included, we're not against due process, but we are actually giving them due process, guys. We're giving the MS-13 member terrorist groups due process. Me personally, you are literally kind of committed the most violent, most horrific crime, unspeakable, unimaginable, just totally exploited, totally just blurred out, and we read you your rights. You could have went as far as raping hundreds of girls, and we would still read you your rights. To me, I just think that's unfathomable. You committed the most horrific crime, and we're sitting there reading your rights. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right, like, really? We just caught you straight out raping a bunch of girls. But then again, that's the Constitution, right? That's the special thing about our republic. That's the special thing about our country. You have a right to a lawyer. You have a right to have a lawyer even if you can't afford one. One will be provided for you by law. So meaning if you can't afford a lawyer, you have no money, we will give you a lawyer. And guess who's going to pay for that lawyer? Taxpayers, right? Then again, we, not against, this has always been the Constitution. You have a right to a lawyer. Even if we've caught you straight out, literally killing kids and doing unspeakable, horrific stuff. You've been caught red-handed. You can still be given a lawyer to defend yourself. Isn't that special, guys? Isn't that special? So it's kind of ironic. The judges actually don't realize this. They don't. Because they are so concerned about gaslighting. They're so concerned about woke virtue signaling. They really are just concerned about that. And they don't even realize how much our Constitution is bending over backwards for horrible criminals. You could have caught someone committing a massacre in a school building, and that person would still be arrested and be ridden his rights. Had his rights being read to him. They would have him sit down. You have the right to remain silent. You have anything you say will be used against you in a court of law. If you can't afford a lawyer, one will be provided for you. Isn't that special? You still have a chance. But to these woke judges, they need all the chances. They need to go run away scot-free. So here is, I don't think this is an arrest. I don't know what's going on, but these are a bunch of news reporters chasing down this Milwaukee judge after being literally caught obstructing justice in favor for an illegal immigrant after this ICE arrest.
Judge, anything to say about this? FBI Director Kash Patel says a U.S. judge has been arrested for obstructing an immigration operation. Let's go live right now to our senior crime and justice correspondent, Caitlin Poland. It's pretty dramatic. What are you learning, Caitlin?
Truly, Wolf, this is something that we have certainly not seen before, but appears to be part of this aggressive approach the Trump administration has toward immigration. What the FBI Director Kash Patel announced in a social media post just a few minutes ago this morning is that just now the FBI arrested Judge Hannah Dugan out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin on charges of obstruction after evidence of Judge Dugan obstructing an immigration arrest operation last week. We believe Judge Dugan intentionally misdirected federal agents away from the subject to be arrested in her courthouse. Eduardo Flores Ruiz is the name that the FBI director puts out there about that subject, allowing the subject to evade arrest. Thankfully, our agents chased down the perp on foot, and he's been in custody since. But the judge's obstruction created increased danger to the public. So that's the FBI director laying out this apparent story and the developments this morning, Wolf, of what is happening with this arrest. We have reached out to the Milwaukee County Circuit Court, which is where the judge sits, Judge Hannah Dugan. They have not responded yet, and there isn't any publicly available information in the court record about this, but it would be a startling development if this judge was arrested as she was working on the bench as a judge handling an immigration case or a case of a person that ICE was also interested in. Wolf?
Yeah, very dramatic and significant indeed. Caitlin Polance reporting for us. Thank you very much, Pamela.
Boy, oh boy. Okay, yeah. So, yes, unfortunately, we got two judges. The one from New Mexico, one from Wisconsin. Let's hear about this guy.
Asking whether a Milwaukee County judge obstructed justice by shielding a man from an ICE arrest at the Milwaukee County Courthouse. The incident happened Friday in misdemeanor court, and it could make the judge a target of a federal investigation. Nick Board tonight with that story.
Judge Hannah Dugan has been on the Milwaukee County bench for 9 years, but is herself under scrutiny after an incident involving a man wanted by immigration agents outside her courtroom Friday. According to a law enforcement source, ICE agents were waiting outside Dugan's courtroom for a man making a court appearance there, but Dugan is alleged to have shielded him to avoid his ICE detention. In an email to other judges shared with 12 News, Chief Judge Carl Ashley confirmed the presence of ICE to other judges.
Here's this bolded thing. Racial equality. By achieving racial equality, Milwaukee. Okay, yeah. We already get this. We already get this message. This judge is woke. He's woke. She's woke. Period. Basically what this thing is saying is, if you don't feel comfortable, if you're too scared to come in and actually face justice, just come to me. Come to me and I'll give you a hug. And I'll actually make you feel very good. It's okay. I actually support you. I'm, going to put up a show. I'm going to be mean to you. But I actually love you. Don't worry. And maybe I'll actually bail you out. This is really what it is. This is, hey, I'm not a racist. I'm not a bad judge. I support you. No, we know judges aren't racist. Come on. The judges that are worried about being racist, quote, quote, are the judges that are woke. Those are the really only... Judge Fletcher, for instance, she's not worried about... There are so many times that this judge has been called racist. They're like, straight out. Every single prisoner, they cry racism. He goes off on them. He puts them in their place. And then we have row of critics. Racist is so weird. White judge. Right and degenerate. No, this is called a good judge, actually. He's a good judge. They call him, Southern, your average Mississippi judge. White Mississippi, straight white judge. Guess what? I can't say much about. Again, I have to say I'm not going to support your statement. I'd rather have that. I'd rather have a judge that's going to actually care about my case. That's actually going to care about to realize that, hey, look, I've been violated, and that judge, he's not going to be afraid to call out the BS. He's not going to be afraid to call out it for what you did. You murdered someone, you're getting life. You murdered someone, you just as might well get the death penalty. Like that Austin Metcalf story, I never support the death penalty. I mean, I'm not against the death penalty. But for me, I think the case has to be so extreme, so outlandish, that yes, I would support the death penalty for that. For Austin Metcalf's case, Carmelo Anthony, I've had moments saying, yeah, you know what? Carmelo needs the death penalty. Or maybe, oh no, you know what? Maybe Carmelo needs another chance. Maybe he just needs life in prison. It's just, okay. When you have this cult walking around saying that Carmelo's such a good guy, he's such an intelligent guy, it's just says, you know what? Just give him the death penalty. You're not helping his case. You're just making me angry. Because you just cannot realize that this man stabbed an innocent 17-year-old man's heart. Literally, not figuratively, physically, with a big, sharp, broad knife. Literally. And this young boy died in his father's arms and his brother's arms. How is that not heartbreaking to you? And you have these idiots running around, even Roland Martin, go and say, oh, Carmelo Anthony was defending himself. No, guess what? Carmelo Anthony is likely, and I'm not saying I want him to get the death penalty. It's really not my choice what happens to him. I live thousands of miles away from Frisco, so I don't get to have a say. So really, my opinion and my voice and my perspective is so irrelevant. But I'm just saying, looking at the facts, the fact that this man, Carmelo Anthony, his blade managed to jar him in the heart, I think that's going to get him the death penalty. Looking at these cases in the history of Texas and their cases, Carmelo Anthony's likely getting the death penalty. I'm telling you straight out. Oh, we're going to have the social justice warriors. No, social justice warriors can't even stand for actual stuff that we need to stand for. And they're going to be throwing their fit, and just get ready for it, guys. Board up, because we're going to have a lot of that. But I'm expecting Anthony to get the death penalty. And, hey, I know we just got off topic, but I'm just telling you. I'd rather have those judges. The judges that care about victims than actually the tears of the murderers, the tears of the criminals and the rapists, because they actually regret what they did, but that doesn't change the fact that they did it. That doesn't change the fact that it happened. So I don't know if I'm going to watch all of this, because we are running out of time. I do want to ultimately touch base and go over the consequences of doubling down on this, and how this is going to basically impact and make the Democrat Party look like in the future. But let's continue.
Judges shared with 12 News, Chief Judge Carl Ashley confirmed the presence of ICE agents Friday, explaining they had a warrant and were asked to wait outside the courtroom. However, Ashley said he, quote, had no information to provide as to what occurred inside Judge Dugan's courtroom.
I spoke with Judge Dugan outside of her courtroom here this afternoon. She told me that she didn't wish to comment at this time, but there is a sign taped to her courtroom door that predates the Friday incident, but seems to reference some of the same issues.
The sign urges any person who, quote, feels unsafe coming to the courthouse to contact Judge Dugan's clerk to request a remote hearing via Zoom. It stated,
and I don't mean to keep interrupting, I'm just going to say this before we continue on. If you murdered someone, if you raped someone, murdered someone, kidnapped someone, violated someone anyway, and you're being criminally held accountable, you should be scared. This isn't supposed to be relaxing for you. This isn't supposed to be soothing for you. So I don't necessarily know why this judge is trying to meet with this illegal immigrant beforehand. We know that this Judge Dugan gal is 100% washed up in favor of this immigrant. She believes the lies. She believes the sob story. They always have their sad sob story. That's how they get away. We know this. And the fact that she would even consider meeting with a murderer, and maybe this is just like, oh, I'm been arrested for drunk driving, and it's time for my court. Okay, I'll be okay with that. Okay, meet with the judge before that, but then again, you gotta be held accountable. You have to go in there. You broke the law. You should be scared. You should be intimidated. And the fact that we are making these accommodations, oh, we'll ease your pain a little bit. No, I just can't get behind that. No, because you broke the law. You put lives at risk. You should be fearing for your blood. That's the sword of justice.
And 4 days before the Friday incident, an ICE spokesperson told 12 News Tuesday morning they would not confirm the incident. They also wouldn't say whether the man in question was ultimately detained by ICE. At the Milwaukee County Courthouse, Nick Ford,
Okay. We'll conclude there. But the remaining 10 minutes or so, let's just say, what are the consequences of this? We talked about 2 examples of 2 judges, 2 woke judges, by the way, 2 Democrat Party activists, wannabe judges, that violated and basically committed treason against the United States. They violated their oath of office. They violated their constituents by siding with non-American illegal aliens. Not even their constituents. They have zero representation with them, nothing to do with them. And here they're bending over backwards, doing somersaults in the air for these people. What are you doing? Because they're activists. They're activists. They personally yearn for them. In other words, they're bought and sold. So, really, I don't think this should be much of a shock to us. But let's talk about the consequences. Democrats are unpopular. Period. They are not doing good. I mean, the difference between now and 8 years ago during the 2017 term of Trump's presidency, Democrats were popular in 2017. Because people didn't know what the Democrats actually had to offer. Post-Biden, now, today, Democrats are unpopular. We know this because Joe Biden was just as worse, right? Democrats wasn't the alternative. They have hurt the American people, and actually, guess what? They've shown that they didn't care, right? Every time Joe Biden went to the beach, Americans just got angry. Because we look around and we say, look, borders open. Wars are going on. The economy's bad. Inflation is high. Gas prices are up. Grocery bills are up. And Joe Biden's kicking up legs. And on top of that, Democrats for 4 years told us how smart, how capable Joe Biden was. That was probably the biggest lie, biggest and famous lie that the media has told us. The biggest mass psyop was exposed. So Democrats are already unpopular because of that. But now imagine this. Imagine this. Imagine this. We already knew 2024. Donald Trump told us that Democrats, they were flying these people in. A lot of Americans were like, yeah, this is part of his campaign strategy. Maybe it's not 100% true. But now more Americans are realizing that, you know what? President Trump might be right about this, because we've seen how much the Democrats are willing to work to make sure their illegal alien friends stay in this country. We've seen how much they have dedicated themselves so much to make sure that the criminals get to stay in this country. We saw their momentum. We saw their energy. We saw Chris Van Hollen fly like an eagle all the way to San Salvador, banging on the door. Bukele, President Nui Bukele, please open up. I want to kiss my friend, Garcia. I want to kiss Emmanuel. Open up, Bukele. Open up. I want to drink some margaritas with my friend, Garcia. Maybe this is what they did. I think that Van Hollen knows that Garcia is a violent predator, but he thinks his constituents are dumb. He knows that he's from a safe blue state. He knows he's going to get reelected, and I think he will, obviously, because, let's see, Chris Van Hollen, are you up for reelection in 2028? No doubt about it, guys. Maryland's bought and sold by Democrats. They're going to reelect him if he runs for election. There might be one brave Democrat that will step up to Van Hollen or something like that. No, I don't think this is 2028. I think it's 2026. Really? No. Nope. I'm wrong. Yes, Chris Van Hollen is up for re-election in 2028. He has filed paperwork to run for re-election. Let's see how that works. I mean, let's be honest, Chris. This guy was re-elected in 2022. 65% of the popular vote. Yeah, this guy's 100% bought and sold. I mean, yeah, he was primary. And then again, I don't trust that majority of Americans will remember. Well, I think they should, honestly, because when do we ever have a senator that will openly go and say, hey, look, guys, I'm going to go and break out a violent offender. I'm going to go fly all the way out of my way to break out an offender that has hurt many women across the country. I'm going to do that. I'm going to literally, in fact, I'm going to have people take pictures of me with this guy. I'm going to literally hire picture men to take pictures of me, Van Hollen, and Brago Garcia. Look at him. Oh, he's listening to his story. He's listening to the sob story. Oh, I'm put into a prison for no reason. And, look at that. Oh, look at it. He looks so concerned and heartwarmed. And of course, MSNBC puts it so lightly. Senator Chris Van Hollen meets with Kilmar Abrago Garcia in El Salvador. Just meeting him, not trying to break him out, not trying to bring him home, even though that's what the senator has clearly said that he would do. But yeah, it's just absolutely sad and disgusting. Democrats, they obviously don't want to be a better party. They obviously don't. They want to be the party of pedophiles. They want to be the party of child rapists. They want to be the party of murderers that really will fight for these murderers, rapists, these pedophiles. They want to be that party. They want to be the party that wants to give rapists and murderers, people that have committed themselves to be, another chance, even though they've had so many under Biden. And the American people, sure, they're frustrated with the Trump administration in some issues, like tariffs to the economy, but they're not going to go, oh, Democrats are the alternative. In fact, there's no alternative. I think Americans are just saying, hey, you know what? We don't like what's going on right now in regards to the economy and the tariffs. But we just got to ride it out. There's nothing we can do. Because Democrats are not the solution, because look at what Democrats are doing. They're meeting with terrorists. They're bringing them home. They don't care about our concerns. Yeah, Democrats are totally fighting for us and our Social Security, and they're bringing back the criminals that light up fires. Yeah, they're totally fighting for us, guys. So Democrats aren't they will never be the alternative. We have a two-party system, and it's Republican or Democrat. So ultimately, Democrats aren't getting better. They've gotten new low. I think they're honestly in double digits. You can't tell me, guys. These Democrats, they're so high and mighty. They great. If you say yourself so good people, why don't you call out Chris Van Hollen and recognize our Bravo Garcia for what he is? Why can't you do that? Why can't you call these Democrats out? Bravo Garcia has thousands of tattoos all over his body. He's a member of MS-13. Look at all these tattoos. Like I said, each tattoo is a design on how they killed their victim. And Chris Van Hollen is so stupidly idiotic. He probably knows it. He doesn't care, though. He's so soulless. He has no morals. He's so selfish. It's disgusting that we have people in Congress that will advocate by this, but then you know what? This is how Republicans win. This is why Democrats have like a -6. No, not -6. It should be. This is why they have this is why people have rejected them. This is why they're not coming back. They're saying, yes, we're experiencing some hardship, but Democrats are never going to be the solution ever again, because this is what they stand for. They stand for MS-13. They stand for law and order and chaos. They stand with our enemies, these terrorist groups. The Democrats, they whine and cry about us Trump talking with Putin, and they're saying Russia Gate and all that stuff. Well, Democrats, you openly embrace MS-13, which is a terrorist group in the United States. How can you talk? So we've talked a lot about these woke judges, extreme judges, that have sold their souls to MS-13. They've sold their souls to Tren de Aragua and the illegal immigrants. They have chosen their side. They've chosen to fight against America. They've chosen to fight against the Constitution. But what do you guys think in regards to this video? Let me know down below. And as always, I'll see you all in the next political episode.